Hi guys, welcome to Cat Bond, and this is Ola. This is the fifth and the final exercise for this series for beginner users using Fusion 360. And I have something quite interesting for us to work with today, which is going to be an engine piston. So not to take much time, I would like for you to just head right to the top right corner of your screen. You see a card where you could download the document file to be used for this exercise. And if you do not have that, you can check in the description or in the comment section. Be able to find a link where we can get the appropriate document. And so, let's get right in. Alright, so at this point I'm guessing that you already have your document, and it looks a little bit complicated. Here it is, but let's just say it's going to be easy for us to do, and I'll try to give as detailed explanations as possible. We have several views for this piston, the isometric view. We have detail B, the plan, the side elevation, and then a sectional cut view of the side elevation. For us to begin with this, we're going to begin by creating or using the sectional view, that's section AA. And so I would begin here by creating a new sketch, and our selected sketch is going to be this particular one. At this point, I guess that you already know that I just usually start by creating something that looks as appropriate as possible to what we intend to achieve at the end. So what I'll do is I'll just try to create a rough sketch that depicts the overall geometry of what we need. So for now, I've selected, created these two lines, and then I'll go ahead to try my best to create more of this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go sideways, down, and let's just say we get up here. At this point, you notice that I have like a snap line or trace line, and I do not want to use that trace line because the effect of that means that the software is going to assume that those points are connected to themselves. So it might bring up a challenge in future or later on when we are trying to apply dimensions. So, but we continue with this. I come downwards, and I come this way. I say I'll go down this way, sideways, and lock it up here. Alright, let's say we also have something that goes in this manner. So I'll just create this. This is very rough, but it's fine. So next thing for me to do is I'll try to place all my dimensions and constraints. So first I'll place coincident constraints between these two, and I'll place the collinear constraint between this line and this line, this line and this line. So what that means is that wherever the first line goes to, the rest of all the lines must follow, because they are supposed to be collinear to each other. And if you want to know what happens if the collinear constraint is not placed, if I select on this line, for example, and drag, you notice that the rest of them do not align accordingly. But with the collinear constraint, it places them fixed at the same point. So with a modification or change to this, then the rest of them also are modified. Alright, so I guess we're getting somewhere, and then I'll place before placing my dimensions proper, I'll place the center line coming upwards in this manner. Alright. So first of all, we're going to place a dimension between this point and this line. This is an angle. We want it to be a vertical line, so apply vertical constraint, and then the distance between these two, according to the sectional view, we have it to be 84. Alright, this is looking weird, but it's fine. The distance between these two, we have it to be 98 as seen on the top part of the sectional view. The distance between this and this is seen to be 90, again as observed from the top part of the model. Let's see, I have a distance from this point to this point, and this is to be 90. One thing I'm not really sure about with Fusion 360 is how it determines where the dimensions should be placed, because I would obviously prefer for this to be down here. But anyways, that's just a minor stuff. And again, dimension we have from this to this, and we have this to be 74. Okay, alright. Okay, so it's time for us to place dimensions that are linked to the height of the piston in question. This is supposed to be 3 millimeters in height. You see this again, but that's a minor thing. Then from this point to this point, they're going to change a lot, but before we do that, we're going to have to deform this very much. So this is well enough going to make the entire thing look very ridiculous and nasty. So basically the thing is that my drawing initial sketch is far smaller than the dimensions I'm supposed to use. So the safest way in order to avoid too many confusions is just to apply some of these kind of changes to where certain parts are located. So it's still the overall same shape, but I just try to move some things around. So from this base point to the overall top, we have this dimension as taken from the side elevation to be 86. Right, so that's not bad. So right now we are observing something weird. So what I'll do is, I think I'll change that later on. So again, from the base point to this, we have it to be 79. From this point, the origin point to this, we have this to be 77. From the origin point to this, we have it to be 74. The origin point to this, we have it to be 72. The origin point again to this line, we have this to be 69, and we have from this origin point to this point, we have it to be 66. Alright, so obviously this is not in its proper position, so what we'll do is I'll place coincident constraint between the origin point and this line. So now that's properly placed and positioned. The next thing we're going to do is, I would say, the distance between the top point here and then this point should be 8, right? And the distance between these points should be 12. Alright, that seems good. This line should be collinear to the origin point, the center line here. So we'll place again collinear constraint between this center line and this line. Alright, we're getting somewhere now. We have the overall distance between this line and this to be 60. And then the diameter of this is supposed to be, according to our drawing, 78. Alright, so this is basically the initial part of what we need. However, I'm going to move this now to a position where I think it should be situated, and something like this. To go on with this, I'll create a line coming from the center to this point and place dimensions as indicated on our drawing. We have dimension from this point to this to be okay, so this is degree. It's not always nice when this happens. So I'll place horizontal constraint and repeat my dimension. So from that point to this should be 35. Alright. We have an angle between these two to be 100 degrees. Okay. Then we have the overall diameter of this particular one to be 34. Alright, so it's kind of looking nice now. I suppose I'll drag this inwards a little bit more. We do not really have the distance for this given, but we know how, let's say, we know that it's supposed to intersect into this particular part and cross this line. Alright, another dimension not to be forgotten is between these two, which should be 40. Yes, 40. So as long as this particular line, this blue line here, cuts through this line, it's fine, perfectly fine. Alright, so now that we've done the majority of what we need, I know that everything looks a little bit disorienting because the dimensions are kind of intersecting each other and it's difficult to understand what's going on. So let me just arrange this very briefly, and I hope that you're not disappointed that I'm taking time to do this. So this should be 8. Everything here looks fine. I think it's always best for us to arrange our drawings. For one, I always prefer to arrange my drawings because it has a kind of nice aesthetics that it brings. So alright, so that's done. So it's very simple. The next things we'll do is going to be to apply fillets to this sketch. You remember that I've always said that my kind of approach, which I think generally should be something that most people should adapt to, is trying to use as little as possible features here. So this radius here is 1. I've inserted, and the radius we have below here is 3. Say enter. The warning here should be disregarded for now. Alright. We have one here. I would say this should be 3. Okay, I'm going to eliminate applying any radius here or fillets because you're gonna figure it out later on. If I apply a fillet here, it's not going to have any relevance right now because I have to do that when we already have a solid. However, we still have fillets here. This is radius 2. And let's see, I am guessing that should be all without fillets. Alright, so we have one more. We have a fillet here, which is 1. Okay, we would definitely need fillets to be located here. 3 radius 3 millimeters or so, but would include all of that when we go into the next phase. So we are done with our sketch now. It took a while, but it has given us something that is quite good. I'll finish this sketch in my home view. I proceed to the revolve tool and select on these profiles here. That's not all. We also need this profile. Let's see. Okay, so I guess the best thing for me to do is to select the inner profiles first, because I don't know why it seems not to want to select multiple profiles, which at this point is feeling a little bit weird. I'm not sure why. Join. This is really insane, and so I do not enjoy this one bit. Let's see. The best thing for me to do, I think, right now would be to go back in here. Usually this used to work. Now I'm a little bit confused. I don't know why it's not working, but you know, many of the times Fusion 360 they try to, it feels like they intentionally mess up the software with the consistent updates that are usually made, so you never can tell what's what's gonna go on. So I guess changing that into construction lines has made this to work. So we have a single profile selected, we have our axis automatically identified, and we want it to go in 360 degrees, and I'll say okay. Alright, so despite that, I think it's not going to be difficult for us to correct. So all I'm going to do is I'll create a new sketch on this plane we used previously. I can finish the sketch for now, even though it's empty, because I would like to create a sectional view of what we have. So with the sectional view, I want it to be using this plane, and I say okay. I return to the sketch we just created and say edit sketch and make this visible. And what I'm going to do is simple, in the sense that I would simply project the sketch used in the previous one. Alright, and I would say okay. So you see, we can always find a way around all of these things. But for us to go on, another thing I'm going to include to this is I'll place a construction line going along the center, and I would create a mirror feature of these sketches that I've just projected. The mirror line is this line, and I would say okay. With this done, I can finish the sketch and go again to revolve. Let's see how this works for us now. Profile. I'm honestly really pissed that I'm only able to select a single what's it called? A single profile, which is super weird, and I do not know. So this works now, which makes me a little bit confused as to why it didn't work before. Anyway, so I've selected these two profiles, 1, 2, and the axis of revolution is this, and we want it to join, and we can say okay. Alright, so it's looking a little bit similar now to what we have on our drawing sheet. And then the next thing for us to do is going to be, I'll select on this face here, or rather than selecting on that face, I could simply select on this plane and create a new sketch. Okay, so we have something messing up here. But we're going to fix that, no problem about that. But before then, I'm here to create a new sketch, and in the side view, I'll create a circle. I try not to create a circle to snap to anything. We know that actually what I'm trying to create now is a hole, and then the hole is of diameter 23, so I'll insert it directly here. With the hole selected, I would place dimension between the origin point and this to be 35 also. Alright, and I would place a coincidence between this and this, or let's say vertical instead. Alright, so that's fine. I finished this sketch. One thing we're going to do right now is in lieu of what we have here, due to this extrusion here, we're going to just try to modify this by dragging this by editing this sketch here. So I'll say edit sketch and drag this inwards a little bit. Let's see, I'm not sure why it's not moving. Why are you not moving? Okay, so let's see how this works for me. This is 25.74, so let's try 22. 22 is too small. 23, 24, 24.5. Alright, so all I've just tried to do is just to make sure that it crosses this part, but doesn't extend too much into the profile. And so I suspect that with this now we do not have, okay, we still have a little bit, which is kind of annoying. And but anyways, I'll just edit again, edit sketch, and let's see. One other thing that could be done is, rather than just continuing to do what I've just done right now, let me see. You know what? I think I'm going to create a modification to what we have in sketch 2 instead. So edit sketch 2, and then I would create a line that goes in this manner, which is kind of slanting. And this line here, I'm not really concerned about the dimension right now, so I'll just apply the mirror tool again to this line. So we have the mirror or the line here also. So in this case now, rather than creating our revolution here using the profile we initially selected, so this time around I'll just select this. So at this point we can be rest assured, right, that the profile we're selecting is not going to extend so much and the axis remains the same. Alright, so we have the same end results. What is going on? What is going on? Edit feature, 2 profiles or 2 sketches to be used, cancel. Alright, so I'll delete this feature then, I don't know, and try to apply the revolution afresh. Let's see, between this, cancel this, and this profile here, axis of revolution is this. Okay, so it's actually still cutting it. So what I would rather do, this is weird, but there is no problem. It's just a matter of let's say circumstance, for the fact that we do not really have dimensions for how this part is supposed to go. So I'll drag this line, or delete this line in general, and just create a new one far closer to this point. Yeah, these are some of the things that frustrate. To be honest, these are some of the things that do frustrate. So I'll apply the mirror tool again. This is the third time. But I do hope that you guys understand the reason why I had to create this in multiple locations. So I go back to the revolve, and using the sketch again, select this profile, and back here select this profile. The axis of revolution is this, and let's assume that this time around we do not have the messed up stuff coming out. Yeah. So now this one is fine. Alright. So with this we've created our circle, and then what we do with this circle is just to create an extrusion cut. For this extrusion cut, I want it to go symmetry, and I want the distance to be all, so it cuts through the entire thing in this manner, and I would say okay. Alright, so at this point we can see that we are very close to the end of this, and then it looks just as good as what we have on our drawing. And so I could take away this sketch now. The next part for us is, if we take a look at the plan view, we have something that looks like some holes or oval shaped cuts, which in detail B they are more explicitly detailed, obviously. So what we'll do is, for us to create that feature, what that actually is like some holes that allows for oil to circulate around the piston to cool down the engine. So what we'll do is, I'll create a sketch on this new plane, and if you notice that from the side elevation where we have the circle showing with the letter B, the proper position for that is on this particular plane. So to begin with this, we have just one important thing to do, which is, as taken from section B, we notice that we have a degree, or from detail B, sorry, we notice that we have a dimension 115 degrees, and then that dimension is between this line and then a line, an imaginary center line. So what we do is, for us to have those references, we're going to use the intersect tool, and for this intersect tool, I'll simply select on this face where we have the reference, and I would say okay. I can click on this line and change it into a construction line. Back to my right view, under the finished sketch, I'll change my analysis or section view to this plane and say okay. Alright, so I go back into my sketch. Don't mind me. I hope that I'm not confusing you in any manner. I would select or create a construction line, or probably a center line. No, construction line is best. And I will draw something that comes in this manner and say okay. The distance or the angle is to be 115 degrees, and this is good. The next thing for me to do, just to simplify my work, I'll create another construction line here. You should note that in CAD designs, you can create as many construction lines as you want. It doesn't matter. So what I'll do is, I'll try to extend this construction line to that one, And the reason for doing that is I just simply don't want to use let's say I don't want to do the next thing to be done to have any effect on this particular solid body. Sometimes I feel like what I'm saying you don't understand, but I just keep on saying it. Alright, so our next step is for us to create that hole. Actually, we are going to need to have a plane that comes in this direction, which is the reason why I've created this construction line, in case you are wondering why I was doing so. So for us to do that, I'll go to construct and select on plane along path. It allows us to create a plane that is normal in direction to path. And I mean normal, I mean something that is similar to being perpendicular in this manner. So you'll notice the arrow is going in the direction of our construction line. And I would say okay. Alright, now I would select on this and select on my construction or create sketch. I want the sketch to be created from the origin point, so I'll just zoom, and the diameter of this is 2, which is very simple. I finished the sketch, and using the cut extrude, I just cut through inwards this manner. Alright, so that's fine, and basically it seems to be like we finished everything, every major part or detail that we need to do. All we need now, oh okay, so there's still something left on the top plane. How I missed that, I do not know. So on the top plane we have some holes that are there. These holes, from my observation, no, I don't think that's what they're there for, but they'll be easy to create as well. I create a construction line coming in this manner, another construction line coming in this manner, and a circle placed on this construction line. This circle is a normal circle. The diameter of this circle is 30. The distance between these two angles, as observed from our plan view, is 45. The distance for this line is, as observed, 30. I know that in the drawing it is stated as radius 30, but in my case, instead of using like a construction line circle in this manner, I instead used a normal line. So it doesn't really matter how you intend to do it, as long as it works. So I would create a circular pattern for this circle now, and the center point for this is here. We have it going around in 4 instances, and I would say okay. Alright, I finished my sketch. I'm guessing that should be basically majority of everything that needs to be done. I'll select on all of these profiles now. If I make this analysis switched off, so I can create extrusion cuts coming downwards, which according to our drawing, section A, this is going in -4 direction. So I'll say okay. Alright. You're probably wondering, but Ola, you only created a single hole. How are you going to create the rest of them? That's not difficult in any manner. So what I'll do is, first of all, I need to find that hole. Not sure where it is. Okay, so the hole is here. The first thing to do is I'm going to create a mirror tool for this hole, and this is what I want to mirror. Let's not call it a face, let's mirror a feature instead. Alright, and the mirror plane to be used is this plane here. So I want it, though it's originally here, I also want it to be applied here, and I will say okay. So now we have one hole on both sides, and then with that we can go over to create again and select on pattern, circular pattern, I want to pattern features, so I want to pattern this mirrored hole, and let's see, pattern also this hole here. Hopefully I'm able to pattern these two at the same time, and the axis of revolution should be default. Should I call this Z axis? I don't know. Anyways, we are not going to use a full pattern angular spacing. So as observed from the drawing on the plan view, we are going to use symmetric. Alright, and then the total angle is not going to be 180, but rather we're going to say, this is going to be weird, we're going to say 8 multiplied, where is multiply? Multiplied by 12.5. Okay, and then the number of instances we have, I think, is 9. Yeah, it is 9. So far you notice that now we have all of these instances here, all of these instances here, and then I would say okay. Honestly speaking, this feels a little bit weird and wrong to me for the fact that we have multiple features down here, but it's still allowable and fine. So with all of this done, the last thing for us to do, obviously, is going to be the application of the fillet tool, which we did not use initially. So in this section view, I don't know if you created it along with me then. So I'm going to select on these edges where I did not create my fillet initially, and apply fillets to these points. The fillet is supposed to be 3 millimeters, so I would say 3. But you know, generally I think it's usual for people to simply just say okay and then apply fillet again. But what I'll do is, instead of applying another set of fillet here, I'll simply say add a selection set. So this first selection set is already defined, and I can select a new selection set. I can select a new selection, and this one should be of radius 1. So ultimately, you know that I've applied 2 different selection sets to a single selection feature, or a single fillet feature here. And when I say OK, we have all of the effects applied appropriately. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to be guessing that we're done with the work. Not to be guessing, I think that we're actually properly done with the work. And I hope that you guys have learned 1 or 2 things in the process of this. So it's been nice with this what do I call it now, exercise series, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it so far. If you'd like to see other tricks and stuff like this with Fusion 360, I would suggest or recommend that you click on the subscribe button, and also hit on the notification bell so that you're updated when I make new uploads. If you like this video, please do not forget to hit on the like button, and if you have something to say, correct me on, maybe there's something that I could have done better, do not hesitate to place it in the comment section. And well, I guess that's all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.